For Sagittarians, thank you so much for being the most viewed on my last readings for the Lionsgate portal. Really appreciate you guys. So I'm doing a past life reading. Remember, it is for the collective. It's not going to resonate with everybody, but it is definitely for someone out there. So we'll get started, guys. Now, as I've done the shuffling, we've come up with a location for you where you lived, and it was Eastern Europe. Now, you suffered a lot of trauma back in this lifetime. You had a close encounter at one point. There was an abandonment issue going on, and someone that was bullying you in this lifetime. Someone tormenting you and tormenting your mind. Now, we also have your identity came up as spiritual questioning. And it's funny that that has come up because the spiritual card was the first one out. Now, your death was drowning. And your lesson in this life is peace, to find peace in this life. So I'm going to start with the Lenormand cards that come out for you. So we've got the key. We've got the diviner and the woman. See if I can pop them up here without knocking the camera over. Okay, guys, so, I feel you were a person with insightful knowledge here, Sagittarius. Open-hearted and open-minded. I feel like you had a good sense of boundaries for your own self and for others as well. In this lifetime, the Sun, Book, and Cross, I feel you needed to free yourself. You had to figure out in your own mind how to do this. So you had, your intuition. I feel you were a woman, quite feminine, single, but there was a couple of love interests there. Maybe one of them was the bully. Now, I do feel like, you were sunny, warm. You had a brilliance about you. You had a glow about you. You were easygoing. And you broadcasted something very strongly. You always looked on the bright side of life. And maybe you found out some positive facts and the truth that made you happy. I felt you were a teacher in this lifetime, quite popular with your students. You had a lot of charisma. Maybe you were a scientist or a professor in some way, but you found great joy in this. Very well educated. And you did think outside the box, depending on the questions that were asked. It was your duty to be knowledgeable in that lifetime. Now we've got the Rider. We have the House and the Fish. So I felt like, you received some faithful news around this time. Could have been news about a stroke of fate or about a duty. Tidings that brought suffering to you. Responsibilities that were forced upon you. And I feel like this news came from someone who was always active, in a hurry, pushy and flamboyant. And this was an invasion on your privacy. You were actually fearing someone who was unfamiliar to you, someone coming in and changing your family traditions. Now, this person was traditional, conservative and strict and didn't bend their rules at all. A person with very conformed habits. And I feel like they were a family member that maybe you had never met before, but you let this unfamiliar in. This person was a rich family member, and they greatly valued money or expensive objects. They had a lot of rules, and this was someone who was a person of business, and they used others for, to profit. Bit of a workaholic, but they used others to profit. So I'm going to get the next lot of cards that have come out for you. So we've got the child, we have the ring, and the stork. So I feel like this person put high value on having a child. And this is what they were probably forcing upon you. You know, this was you, inexperienced person, developing a new connection, and someone who was emotionally attached to you. This person was promising change, but to be bound to this child by transition. Yeah, I feel like this person was occupied with their own transformation though, and they were trying to accept the inevitable side of death coming, accept that their life was going to end at some point. And now you were to look after this child for this person. I feel like this person was being, or trying to hold on to something that was already ending. Maybe they were being drawn to their death, or they were feeling a little bit suicidal. And the next lot of cards is the coffin, the snake, and the star. So I felt like you were being drawn to a spiritual idea because it made you feel powerful or special. And you possibly were feeling hopeful at this point because back then you were a visionary. But you had to discontinue something old in the hope of gaining something new that was more meaningful. You know, we've got the scythe here, and the fox, and the clover. So this was a family member who'd been cut off, apparently. Someone who was blunt, you know, with their words, or wanted to do things too unexpectedly for your liking. You had to weigh up the risks carefully, whether something was not good for you and whether you should cut it off yourself. You know, this person was very selfish, but you had to take care of yourself first and to be good at adapting to changing surprises or something that was unexpected in your life. So I'm going to move on to the next load of cards. We've got the woman. We have the path, or the crossroads, and the garden. So I feel like you're refusing to be responsible with this child. You were confronted by an important decision. You were in two minds about this, and you wanted to think first before you announced something to everybody in your community. You know, you had a reputation and public image that were very important to you, and you wanted to tackle this together with those people. You know, this was a threat of challenge here. Now we've got the mountain, we have the whip, and we have the tree. So I felt there was guilt and conflict that made you freeze up. So you're unable to act on this and tell people in your vicinity what was going on. But it was a conflict that grew slow and steady, and you needed to stop overthinking. You had your heart set on something, and now there was an inability to unwillingly rethink again. You were a good soul back then, Sagittarius, but you wanted to spend quality time with your love interest because you worked a lot. You know, you had to try to shut your affections out and put yourself in a position of authority with this child. And you had to keep your loyalty to family. Now we'll go on to the next load of cards. We have the heart, the tower, and the dog. So I feel like you're refusing to be responsible, and you were definitely confronted with an important decision here. But being in two minds. You wanted to think first before you announce things. The next load of cards is the letter, the mice, and the ship. So, you could have been listening to others where they gave support. I do see you having a conversation with a friend, and you asked this friend what you should do. Now, this friend was mediating, but you were having exhausting conversations with this person. This person could have been a whistleblower with the mice here. Very sneaky and corrupt. Bit of an energy vampire. Someone who made themselves scarce after you had this conversation. This person spread lies and rumours very wide. And it was someone who travelled for work and who was often away though. But they had this strong sense of travelling, strong sense of wanderlust. Now the next load of cards for you is the birds, man and bear. Someone unreliable. I felt this person was very fickle, difficult to assess at times, this man. And supposedly a friend. You were trying to protect yourself from this man who was bullying you. This came up. A bully. Okay? By letting out your conversation with others. This bully had high sex drive, and they were possibly one of your lovers. But you kept this relationship hidden because they were a bit of a shady character with unclear focus and a bit of a stalker. But they were a long-term resident of where you lived. So very interesting, Sag. Now we have the man, the moon, and the bouquet. So this is your advice, and this is what's happening in this incarnation now. So this man is very relevant to your concern in this lifetime. He's quiet now and restful, tired all the time. He has a lot of feelings, not necessarily romantic either. So you could be feeling traumatized by this man, even to spend the night with him and rest in his company. You've got to listen to your intuition here, Sagittarius. It's vitally important. But try not to get too worked up emotionally over this. There seems to be a period of waiting until it's quiet or after you've rested before engaging on conversations. But, evening time is the best time. Possibly late autumn or winter for wherever you reside. I think this person's got social phobias. And you may even welcome a visitor into your home. You're going to show your appreciation. And, you're going to attend to your appearance, even so. Now, this is possibly a young girl from the past incarnation. Someone that's missing in this man's life. And it could be the daughter from the past life. So your lesson in this lifetime is to find peace. This person did torture you, but they're back in your life to complete a lesson here. And the lesson you need is to find peace with this person. Okay, and you're still very spiritual in this lifetime. So I hope you like the reading, and I really do appreciate all your likes and subscribes to my channel. And for the most viewed in the Lionsgate portal reading, I really do appreciate it. And I hope you get some good information out of that, and you're able to manifest what it is that you want in your life, to put you on your spiritual path, to let things fall aside that no longer serve you, and to be in good health too. So love and blessings to you guys. Bye for now.